right, well, let's get to tonight here, guys, in price check. Again, final day before the All-Star break. Who's your guy above 10K this evening, Nick?
So normally I'm a Joel Embiid guy. I know he had a rough game last time out, but I'm not going to go with Joel Embiid again in this one. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the guy tonight for me. I know we have Luka Doncic as an option as well too, but Giannis, he's coming off with the Bucks have played. This is their third game in 4 days, but Giannis did have a rest day. Philly's coming off that brutal game, and I know you might think, oh, Philly's going to bounce back. There's no way they can do what they did last time against the Celtics. I do think to some extent it won't be that bad necessarily, but I think what we've seen since they've kind of moved on from Seth Curry and Andre Drummond too, they just don't have that offensive firepower right now until James Harden gets back in the mix. And if you look historically at how Giannis has done against Embiid, Giannis has done pretty well against Joel Embiid. He hasn't really had many issues in terms of scoring, in terms of rebounding. Joel Embiid still done fine, but when we're looking at it from a DFS perspective, he's not holding up, the salary that he has tonight. And also Giannis, forward eligibility, that is important because there are a few centers that I like tonight too that I think are going to provide some good value.
All right, Gare Bear, who is your guy over 10K?
Got to agree with Nick. I think it's Giannis tonight among the studs. I know this is kind of funny to say on the heels of getting absolutely demolished by the Celtics, but you look at this game on paper and think this is going to be a relatively neutral game script. This should be one of those contests where Giannis is forced to play more minutes than he, would normally have to do on your average Thursday night. And the last 4 times that Giannis has played at least 34 minutes in a game, he's averaging 74.1 DraftKings points per game, which makes a lot of sense when you consider that across his last 11 games in general, he's averaging 1.8 DraftKings points per minute. So if you're going to get Giannis towards his 90th, 95th percentile in terms of minutes played volume, you just have to play him on those slates.
All right, Matty, you have just 3 guys to choose from here. So which one you going with? You got Luka, you got Giannis, you got Joel.
Yeah, I agree with these guys on Giannis over Embiid. And I think the reason for that, a lot of it for me is just the position, where at center, I think there are going to be a lot of value plays to look at, especially if Christian Wood doesn't play tonight. We have some cheaper Rockets, but I think the cheaper Clippers too. So I kind of want to save the center slot with Embiid. And Giannis looks good to me. Part of also what's happening with the Bucks is they just don't have a lot of depth right now. They traded away a couple players. They have some injuries to their supporting cast. And Giannis is just I think he's more well-rested than these other players. Giannis got a day off last week, and he looked really good coming back against Indiana. I think Embiid might be a little more tired. Luka's had to do a lot more with Porzingis out of the lineup. And even though the Mavericks beat the Heat on the road, Luka was not actually that great in that game. It was mostly the Mavericks' defense that won that for them. So I think Giannis just looks fresher right now. Truthfully, though, you can't really go wrong with any of these guys. They're all just legitimate fantasy studs any night. But I'm leaning Giannis over the other 2.